My name is James Whitmore. I'm 32 years old, and I live in Toronto. I work in creative strategy at a mid-sized marketing firm. From the outside, my life probably looked stable, good salary, modern apartment, a few close friends, a golden retriever named Milo. The kind of life people scroll past on Instagram and assume means you're happy. But the truth? I was lonely, controlled, predictable. This is the story I've never told anyone. Call it, she told me, you don't know what you've started. The first time I saw her, she was storming out of the elevator on the 10th floor, coat half-buttoned, red hair tied back in a loose knot, a folder tucked under one arm like it owed her money. She brushed past me, eyes locked ahead, and I thought, that woman is either going to ruin someone or change everything. Turns out it was both. Her name was Elise Marin. She was a consultant brought in by corporate to streamline inefficiencies in our creative department. The whispers started instantly. Rumors. Some said she'd cleaned house at the Vancouver branch. Others said she got promoted by sleeping with the CFO. None of it sounded real until she walked into our team meeting. I'm not here to fire anyone yet, she said, setting her coffee down like a mic drop. But let's get one thing straight. If you're here to play safe, you're in the wrong room. The air shifted. So did my pulse. She was everything I wasn't. Sharp, unpredictable, unapologetic. And yet, when our eyes met for the first time across the glass conference table, I felt a current. Not attraction, not exactly. It was deeper, more dangerous, like recognition. We were assigned to work together on the rebrand for a global fitness client. Long hours, late nights, quick lunches eaten over mood boards and pitch decks. I learned that she drank her coffee black and hated people who chewed with their mouths open. That she could speak fluent French. That she'd grown up in foster care and trusted no one. Not fully. One night, around 11:45 p.m., we were the only two left in the office. I like this version, I said, holding up a mock-up I designed. She looked over my shoulder. It's safe. Safe sells. Safe's boring. She stepped closer. You're capable of more. I see it. There was silence then. That kind that stretches and tightens and dares someone to break it. So I did. Why do you always push people like that? She didn't answer right away. Then she said softly, because if you don't push people, they forget how far they can go. And then she kissed me. No warning. No build-up. Just lips on lips. Lightning through bone. Heart in freefall. But as we pulled apart, she whispered with something like fear, like prophecy. You don't know what you've started. That night changed everything. We kept it secret at first. A glance here, a lingering touch there. Midnight texts that turned into phone calls that turned into her slipping into my apartment at 2 a.m. Her hair smelling like rain and danger. It was magnetic, reckless, beautiful, but nothing that burns, that brightly lasts without consequences. It started with a colleague named Marcus, our VP of strategy, and an old flame of Elise's, apparently. I didn't know until I found him waiting outside my apartment one morning. Stay away from her, he said, voice low. She's not who you think she is. She's not yours to protect, I said. He smirked. No, but I know her better than you ever will. Later that night, Elise admitted they'd had a past. He didn't take no well, she said, lighting a cigarette on my balcony. He still doesn't. Then there was my sister, Rachel. She met Elise at my birthday dinner. Afterward, she pulled me aside. James, she's intense. Be careful, okay? You look at her like she's oxygen. That's not love. That's drowning. But I was already in too deep. Things unraveled fast. First, a major pitch we worked on together was mysteriously leaked. Our competitor presented a disturbingly similar concept 2 weeks before our launch. Our boss launched an internal investigation. Trust fractured. Fingers pointed. Then my mother called. Dad had collapsed. Stroke. He was stable, but it shook me. I told Elise I needed a few days to be with family. She didn't say much, just looked at me and asked, "Will you come back the same?" I didn't understand then, but when I returned 3 days later, Elise was gone. Her office was cleared. No goodbye, no message, Just a single note left in my drawer. Don't chase me. Protect yourself. This isn't over. And that was the beginning of the real story. The part where love and betrayal became indistinguishable. Where truth wore the mask of lies. Where I started questioning not just her, but myself. For weeks after Elise vanished, I kept checking my phone like an addict waiting for a fix. Every vibration, every email ping felt like it could be her. But it never was. She disappeared like a ghost, leaving only fragments behind. Her empty coffee mug in the team kitchen. Her initials still on our shared project folders. The faint smell of jasmine on the scarf she once forgot in my car. I was unraveling. Work became a minefield. HR called me in for questioning about the leaked pitch. Someone had sent an anonymous tip linking me to Elise. Was there a personal relationship? They asked. I didn't lie. Yes, I said. But she didn't leak anything. I'd bet my life on that. They exchanged a look I couldn't read. I walked out of that room knowing two things. Someone wanted to bury her. They didn't mind if I got buried with her. I decided to investigate on my own. I started by looking into Elise's past, what little of it she'd shared. A foster system file buried under her legal name, Elise Marina Holloway. No parents listed. 6 different homes before the age of 10. A sealed court case at 15. The trail ended there, until I remembered her old phone number. I scrolled through our text threads, half deleted, half painful to read, and found a contact labeled burner. A last-ditch text I'd sent weeks earlier, never delivered. I tried again. Elise, I don't know where you are, but I'm not okay. Please, let me help. To my shock, the message delivered. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. If you want answers, meet me at 43 Wexford Lane. Tomorrow, midnight. Come alone. My heart stopped. The address led me to a half-abandoned greenhouse on the edge of the city. Overgrown ivy, shattered windows, moonlight dripping through cracks in the ceiling. I stepped inside, heart pounding. She was already there, leaning against a rusted support beam, arms crossed, eyes tired but still burning. Elise, she shook her head. Don't say my name. I had to see you. I thought that I was running from you? James, her voice cracked. I was running for you. I didn't understand. She pulled out a flash drive from her coat pocket. This is why I left. It has records from the Vancouver office. Bribes, backdoor deals. Marcus is involved. He planted the leak to frame us both. I stared at her. Then why not expose him? Why run? Because I've done this before. Blown the whistle. You don't just expose men like Marcus. You survive them. Her eyes welled with tears. I knew if I stayed, they'd come after you too. I reached for her hand. I'd rather fall with you than live not knowing. For the first time in weeks, she smiled. But it didn't last. A noise echoed from behind us. Glass crunching under a heavy boot. We turned. Marcus stood in the shadows, holding a gun. Touching reunion, he said, stepping closer. Too bad it ends here. Elise moved in front of me. This isn't you, Marcus. Oh, it is. You made it this way. I was going to keep quiet, she said, trembling. Just leave us alone. You think they'll stop at you? His eyes flicked to me. He's part of this now. You pulled him in. And that's when I saw it. His hands shaking, his eyes wide, his control slipping. I stepped forward. You don't want to do this. Shut up. Marcus, look at me. You're not a killer. You're scared. You're spiraling. But you still have a choice. For a moment, the world held its breath. And then, a shot. But not from Marcus. From behind him. He collapsed to the ground, groaning in pain, the gun falling from his hand. Behind him stood Rachel, my sister. Arms locked, face pale, holding a revolver. I followed you, she said, eyes wild. I saw the texts. I didn't trust her, but I trust you. Elise fell into my arms, sobbing. I didn't want it to end like this. The police came. Statements were taken. Evidence was reviewed. Marcus survived. He was arrested and later charged. The flash drive Elise gave me cracked open a case that shook our industry. She became a key witness. I never returned to the agency. We both walked away, bloodied, exhausted, changed. In the weeks that followed, everything slowed down. Like the moment after a storm when the wind finally dies, and you realize just how much damage was done. I slept on my sister's couch for a while. Elise moved into a temporary apartment under legal protection. We weren't allowed to speak. Legal proceedings, gag orders, press breathing down our necks. But somehow, even in silence, we stayed connected. Sometimes I'd find a book on my doorstep, something she once mentioned loving. Other times, I'd catch a jasmine-scented scarf tucked into my mailbox. Quiet signals, little reminders. She was still out there, still fighting, still loving me in the only way she could. When the trial ended, Marcus pled guilty. A reduced sentence in exchange for exposing other executives tied to the scheme. Elise's name was cleared. Mine too. But something between us had shifted. We had survived the fire, but we hadn't emerged untouched. When we finally met again, legally, freely, it was at the lakeside cabin she used to visit as a child. She'd once said it was the only place in the world that ever felt safe. I drove up that morning, unsure of what I'd find. She was sitting on the porch, barefoot, cup of tea in hand. She looked like someone who had cried all her tears and come out stronger for it. "Hey, stranger," I said, stepping out of the car. She looked up, smiled. "Took you long enough." I sat beside her. There were no fireworks, no dramatic kisses, just the kind of silence that only comes when two people already know the words in each other's hearts. "I thought about you every day," I said. "I know," she whispered. "Me too." I looked at her. "Do you think we can go back?" She shook her head. "No, but maybe we don't have to." And that was it. Not the ending we thought we'd have, but something quieter, realer. A beginning shaped by truth, not illusion. We stayed at that cabin for a week. No social media, no news, just us, talking, healing, letting our walls fall slowly, like snow melting in spring. I learned more about her in those 7 days than I had in the 7 months before. That she hated thunderstorms but loved walking after the rain. That she once wrote a letter to her future self at age 15 and buried it under that very porch. That she never believed in happy endings. Until me. One night, I found her sitting by the fire, her head in her hands. "What's wrong?" I asked. She looked up, eyes shimmering. "I'm scared." "Of what?" "That I'll ruin this. That I'll run again." I knelt in front of her. "Then let me be the one who stays, even when you run." She didn't say anything. She just leaned forward and kissed me. The life lesson? Sometimes love isn't about the big moments. Not about grand gestures or perfect endings. It's about who's still standing beside you after everything falls apart. Elise taught me that love can come wrapped in fire and still be worth burning for. That people don't need saving. They need someone who won't flinch when they show their scars. And maybe most of all, that the words, "You don't know what you've started," can be a warning or a promise. For me, they were the start of everything.